Okay, so what we're going to talk about this morning is Instagram engagement. Who watched Kristen Wyatt's training yesterday? Okay, if you haven't watched Kristen Wyatt's training yet, you need to right now. Like, really, you needed to last night. It was so good. I'm going to rewatch it today, actually. I just adore her. If you don't know Kristen Wyatt's backstory, I know she told a little bit about it yesterday, but she ranked really, really quickly. I think all the way up, it was either platinum or ruby. And then she lost her rank for a while, you guys. She went really, 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 really quick. And then she lost it for a pretty significant amount of time. Don't quote me on this because I could be totally butchering the story. But I think it was like 1 or 2 years that she wasn't re-ranking the highest rank that she hit, right? And she hung in there so steady, building such a strong foundation in her business that she came back and she either re-ranked Ruby or she ranked Ruby for the first time. I think she went platinum and then went back for a little bit and came back strong and hit Ruby. Again, don't quote me on this story, but it's something along those lines. And so anytime she does a training, I love listening to her because the people who come in who are unicorns like Brittany Hitch, right? Are amazing. Your Brittany Hitches, your Katie Williams, your Jenna Tomers, the people who are literally like lifting the lid for our industry are obviously amazing, you guys. So don't hear me wrong on this, but I love listening to people whose business took really long-term strategic work. Now, all of them, Brittany, Fran, Katie, Jenna, they all have so many amazing business tips, but I get so inspired by people like Kristen Wyatt because she did have really fast business and then she saw it dip back a little bit. And that's when she dug her toes in and got really strategic, figured out super good plans, put really great systems into place, started training up really strong leaders, right? So that when they came back to hit these really big ranks, their business was rock freaking solid. So if you can get on Kristen Wyatt's YouTube and watch any of her training videos, I just adore her. She's so fun and bubbly. Every time I listen to a training, I have fun. One of the things that she talked about last night that I was like, yes, this is going to be perfect, is she was talking about the 2 weeks, right? The first 2 weeks of the month, she digs in to building back up those personal relationships, making all of those personal touches. And what we're talking about today with Instagram engagement is really going to go right alongside that. When you are on yesterday, Marissa actually in one of the chats with our people, she said, Instagram content is nothing without Instagram engagement, and Instagram engagement is nothing without the content. And I was like, yes, I'm saying that tomorrow because it is so true, you guys. We talk a lot about what we're posting on social media, how often we're posting on social media, the hashtags we're using, all of these things about what we're putting up. But if you're not doing the second half of that, if you're not going and engaging on people's accounts, you might be totally wasting your time. Specifically, if you're someone who has a smaller Instagram following, okay? There are a lot of people within our organization who I would gamble to say have under 1,000 followers. Is that you? Raise your hand if that's you. If you have under 1,000 followers, you don't have a ton of people who are getting their eyes on your stuff every day. Like if you have 50 viewers in your story each day, that's amazing. But what it means is Instagram engagement is going to be really important for your business because yes, like Aaron DeCure says, you have to be doing the reels and the posts with good hashtags to get new eyes on your feed. But Instagram runs all of its algorithms off of engagement, meaning, and this might be outdated, but a while ago I read a statistic that said Instagram only shows about 5% of your followers your content on a given day. Okay, so 5%, meaning I don't do math. I don't even want to give you an example of a number. 5% is really low, guys. Okay. Multiply the amount of followers you have by 5%. That's how many people Instagram just by default is likely showing your content to. Now, how you raise that number is by engagement. The more people that you engage with, the more people that Instagram is going to show your content to. And that's based off your followers, right? So if you're interacting with your followers, engagement looks like liking, commenting, sharing, saving, and messaging. That's engaging. Okay. If you do one of those 5 actions, the more people you engage with who are following you, those followers are going to be shown your content more often. Now, if you're someone, now for someone like me, right, I have about 6,000 followers. So I can spend time going down my list of people who are following me and engage really, 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 really heavy and know that Instagram is going to show those people my stuff more often. And because I have a larger base, I'm still really small in the world of Instagram. But because I have those 6,000 people, it's giving me kind of a little bit of a bigger pond of people who might see my stuff because they're already following me. Okay. If you don't have that big base of followers, you are going to want to use some form of a system for engagement to be engaging with new people's accounts. So new people are more likely to see your stuff. Okay. So that's what we're going to talk about today. It's really important to set timers for a certain amount of engagement each day, especially if you do have a smaller account. When I say a smaller account too, by the way, I feel like anybody under 10,000 followers is a small account, just as like some kind of scale for you. If you have less than 10,000 followers, you are a very small account on Instagram. Now, you also have so many millionaires in network marketing who have really small accounts. So don't let that get you down. But if you're wanting to grow on social media, we just got to be really strategic. Okay. So I'm going to walk you through my Instagram engagement steps. I recommend that you do this for at least half an hour a day on any given day. But during a season right now, leading up to convention, right, with what Kristen Wyatt was talking about yesterday, I would maybe double or triple this amount of time so that in those first 2 weeks of the month, you're engaging really, 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 really heavily. That way, more people are seeing your stuff and you're kind of building that base, maybe of higher views, even if it's just for the month of August leading into convention. And so I would up it, but at least half an hour a day. I will tell you right now, the system I'm going to teach you is almost mindless. I do this most of the time when I'm watching TV. So when I'm watching Manifest, if you know, you know, I am on my Instagram doing these steps and I almost don't even have to look at my phone to do them anymore, you guys. Okay. So here's what it is. So Instagram engagement steps. This is one way to do it for engaging with the people you are following and kind of cleaning that up a little bit. After I show you these steps, I'm going to explain other places you can go on Instagram where you can use these exact steps, but in different categories. So when you're doing this, you are first, and if you have your phone available to walk through these as I'm talking, that'll give you a good visual. Go to the list of people that you are following. Okay, so on your Instagram, you're going to click the little button to take you to your homepage, and you're going to go to the list of people you are following, not who are following you, who you are following. Okay, you're going to click that. When you click this page down here, you're going to see a really little icon. It's an arrow up and an arrow down. This organizes your list, okay? If you're following a significant amount of people, which most people are, you're not going to be able to go through your entire list in a single day. So if you organize this, you'll be able to pick up where you left off the last time. So it doesn't matter which way you follow, which way you set it. You can do it to date latest followed or earliest. If you do it by earliest, it's going to show you the people that you started following, you know, back in 2010. It doesn't really matter. I usually click by latest. And it's going to put it in order chronologically. Okay. This is important because when you're done, let's say you set half an hour and you're like, I'm leaving off at this person's profile. Because this is in order, all you need to do is write down the profile that you left off on. And when you come back the next time and you put this list in the same order, you can literally pick up where you last left off. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Okay. So that's what I do every time. So that's the first step. Go to the list of your followers. Sort the list by clicking the up and down. Go to followed latest. You can also do it by followed earliest. Now you're going to begin working your way down these lists of people one by one. What I want you to do, or you don't have to do this, but this is how I do it, is I'm going to click on someone's profile. Okay, I'm going to try and find someone not cute. I'm going to click on someone's profile. Here's their profile. Here's all of their pictures, okay? This is what I do. I click on this top photo because then it lets you scroll through all of the posts this way. And I literally start obnoxiously liking photos down, you guys. On that graphic, I think I say 9 to 12 pictures. I just go kind of ham. Like this is where I'm watching Manifest, right? So I'm like literally obnoxious. Okay. We're doing this on purpose. I'm going to explain why after. Like an obnoxious amount of photos, at least their top 9 to 12. Okay. Then you're going to pick one, literally any picture, and you're going to leave a 4-word comment. Try and make this a genuine comment, not like a, oh my gosh, this is such a cute picture, but maybe like, okay, so she has a picture right here. They're hiking and it's tagged for Gatlinburg, Tennessee. So I would probably leave a comment like, oh my gosh, I went to Gatlinburg a few years ago and it was so much fun. What was your favorite part? Okay, I try and ask a question. The reason I try to ask a question, it could be shorter, right? It could be like, your dress is so cute. Where is it from? That food looks so good. What's this restaurant? Wow, that's such a pretty beach. Where is this, right? Like whatever you want. I would ask a question though, because if you don't ask a question, probably most likely at best, they might like your comment. But if you ask a question, they're probably going to answer your question, right? So if you say, wow, that dress is so cute, where's it from? They might comment back and be like, it's from Target. I love it, right? Well, guess what? That triggers the algorithm, right? That's more engagement. So when you leave that comment, I would try and ask a question. Okay, so that's step 1 and step 2. You're liking their top 9 to 12 photos, just really an obnoxious amount. Then you're leaving a comment on one of them. Try to ask a question if you can. After that, you are going to watch their stories. Now, not everybody has a story, but I basically just click off. I scroll back up to the top. She does have a story. Okay. If they don't have a story, you would skip this step and go to the next one. But if they do have a story, you're going to click on this. Now, here's where I'm brutally honest. I literally don't ever actually watch pretty much anyone's stories. Pretty much anyone's. Even people on my team, unless you've like dropped a link for me to go watch it, I probably am not like watching stories, because when I'm on Instagram, I am so purposeful with my time. I am on there very strategically doing messages or engaging or putting up my own content. I do not scroll on social media for funsies, like literally ever. Okay. But what I do is I start to kind of click through these stories and I look for something that I can respond to. Okay. This girl does some kind of side hustle because she has a come join my team graphic in her story. Things not to do 101, but we'll skip past that. So I'm looking, right? I'm going to look for something. She might not have something in here. I would find literally anything. Here's a box with her getting food. Okay. Literally anything. And instead of writing a comment, because sometimes that's more time consuming, I click this bar down here. I click one of these emojis. Okay. For this, I'm just going to clap. I actually don't know what I'm responding to, but I send something into their stories that's an emoji. If there's something in their story that I can write a message to, I will. Sometimes that's more time consuming, right? And I'm trying to get a lot of engagement in. So I'll do that emoji. Why do I do that? It goes directly into their inbox. Anything that you respond to in their story, it doesn't go into their notifications. It goes directly into their inbox. So once you've done those engagement steps, you've liked an obnoxious amount of photos, you've commented on one, you've watched and responded into their stories, guess what it looks like on their side of the phone? They go to their notifications, okay? Oops, how do I get there? They go to their notifications and all of these are you. And then you also have popped up in their inbox. Okay. Tell me that person's not going to come back and at least look at your profile. Okay. The goal of this engagement, these engagement tips, my goal when I'm engaging on people's Instagrams is I want to show up so heavily in their notifications that they're like, who the heck is this chick? I'm going to go look at her profile. Right? I want people to want to know who's blowing up their Instagram. So they come look at my profile and maybe they follow me, or maybe they watch one of my reels that talks about making money, or maybe they watch my story that talks about me working my business. and they decide to send me a message, follow me, or engage back with me so that down the road I can reach out to them. Okay, that's the goal. Those are my 3 things that I engage with on people's profiles. I like a bunch of their pictures. I leave a comment on one. I respond into their Instagram stories. Now, the next thing that I'm going to tell you, which is on this graphic, is something that is totally preference. Okay. I am really big on not following people on social media who don't follow me. And I will explain. It's not an ego thing. Again, it's a time thing, right? Anything that I'm posting on social media, besides reels, right? It's not really showing up in those people's profile feeds if they don't follow me. So if I'm following them, but they're not following me, I could be putting up the most fire content of all time, and they still might not be seeing it, but I'm going to be seeing all of their content on my end. Right? So I might be engaging or spending time engaging with them, but they're not seeing any of my stuff. Okay. So for me, I personally do not follow people who don't follow me back unless I'm trying to strategically build that connection for them to come look at my stuff. There are people who are bigger fish that I follow them, and I'm very diligent on engaging. I have a whole nother training called the Hot 20 list. I can drop that link in Q Mafia. If you guys want to watch that, it's kind of how I engage with very specific profiles who maybe don't follow me back. I'll drop that later. But this is the last step that I do. So after I've engaged, okay, I'm going to explain why in a minute. I go to who they are following. Okay, this is that same girl's profile. I come over here, I click to see who is she following. And I look to see if she's following me. Now she is, right? If she's following you, you will be at the very top of that page. That's me right there. If she's not following me, my face wouldn't show up there. If they're not following me personally, I unfollow them. Again, it has nothing to do with who they are, what they post, ego, anything like that. I unfollow them because I like to make sure the people that I'm, liking, commenting regularly on, they're seeing my stuff. So in my case, I would unfollow her if she didn't follow me back. Now, the reason I do this at the very end of those, I'm like hiding out in my daughter's room this morning because my husband worked overnight, like cannot get comfortable. Anyways, so the reason I do this after all of the engagement is I'm going to engage the crap out of their profile and then decide whether or not I'm unfollowing them, because all of that engagement, whether I follow them or not, or whether they follow me or not, is still going to show up in their notifications. Instagram is one of those things, right? Again, you're only seeing about 5% of the people who you follow. You're really only seeing about 5% of stuff. So maybe they followed me a long time ago and I followed them and they followed me, or something happened and they just don't really know who the heck I even am. But after they see all of those notifications, maybe they'll decide to come back and follow me later. So I always do the engagement before I decide to unfollow people if they're not following me. Does that make sense? I hope so. So that is how I engage a lot of the time. Now I'll give you an example of what this looks like long-term. So I did follow loops a long time ago, back when they were really, really fruitful. We could go into a black hole on follow loops, giveaway stuff, all of those things. We won't, but I will explain to you, like 7 months to a year ago, my followers list was the same number as my following list. Okay, so I had about 6,000 followers and I was following probably, maybe not quite as many, probably like 4,000 people. Now I've done this Instagram engagement list. I do it every single day. And I specifically have focused on the people I'm following because I had a really significant amount to work through. And now I follow like 1,600 people, but about 6,000 follow me. So I've kind of weeded it out. Does that make sense? I've used these engagement tips to weed out my Instagram. Now, if you don't want to do that, if you're like, I have 200 followers and I follow 180 people, I'm not really concerned about that, but I want to engage to expand my following, you would do these same steps, but in different areas on your social media. Okay. So rather than going to the list of people that you're following, you would just go to a different area. I really like engaging in hashtags that go along with my niche, because I feel like you're finding people who, when they click on your profile, they're more likely to follow you back because you're talking about things that they're also talking about, right? So as an example, maybe I would go into a hashtag like working mamas. You can type this into your search bar at the top of Instagram. You can type in a hashtag. You would go over to tags. Oops. You go over to tags. And there's your hashtag at the very top, working mamas. So I could click on this hashtag. It's going to pull up all of the posts that have been posted using the hashtag working mamas. Now, if you engage on hashtags, do not engage on top. Always click over to recent. I would click over to recent. All of these pictures are pictures of working mamas. Now, I'm going to be honest, in working mamas, there's probably a lot of network marketing people. So this is maybe not like the best hashtag to engage in, but just as an example, I would start profiling people. Literally, first of all, there's me. Okay. So that's cool. Hashtags are powerful, guys. But I would start looking for people. You can tell a lot by the way people post photos. Okay. By the way people post photos. I was talking with Tiara the other day about this. So I kind of go through and I look for pictures like, who looks like someone that maybe would be a good fit on my team? I know this is profiling, but sometimes this is just what I do. So I go through and I would click on one. I would be like, oh, okay, I like this picture. And I would like and comment, right? Like and comment. And then I would go to her profile and I would do those steps. I would like a bunch of obnoxious photos. I would leave one forward comment. I would watch and engage with her story. I'm not going to check whether or not she's following me because I know she's not following me because I found her in a random hashtag. But the goal is that I would use those engagement steps. In her notifications, my face would be everywhere and she would be like, who the heck is this girl? And come look at my profile. Does that make sense? So that is what I do. Now, again, right now, like what Kristen Wyatt said, we're in this unique situation. We have 2 weeks where she really recommends doing this kind of work heavily. Now, she explained it differently. I feel like when she explained on her training, it applies really heavily to Facebook, right? She said she goes and she really engages with people, leaving comments on people's personal stuff, sending message to people who are talking about personal things. And I feel like that's really, really fitting for Facebook marketing, because when you're on Facebook, most of those people you actually know, right? You know them from high school, from church, from work, from different things over the years. And that's how you become friends on Facebook, because to be friends on Facebook, you literally have to search someone's name in and friend them on Facebook. What she said I would do on Facebook. These Instagram engagement steps are likely going to work better on Instagram because it's going to allow you to find more people. That's the power of this business, you guys. My first time around in network marketing, 6 months into it, I had no idea about Instagram. Okay, 2018 was like yesterday, but I feel like in the world of Instagram, it was like everything is so different from 2018 to now. Nobody was really doing a ton of this stuff yet on Instagram, but I hit this wall in my business, right? For the first 6 months, I really built on Facebook. That's where I had my warmest market. That's where I'd spent the most time. That's where I had the most people. That's where people were really like following me along more, was on Facebook. So I built on Facebook. I hit about 6 months into the business and I was like, I've ran out of people. I know we never say that, right? But that's how I felt. I was like, I've talked to everyone I know, literally. And now if I don't meet more people, my business is never going to get to the Brittany Hitch level. I didn't even realize that was a possibility back then, but I knew I was never going to make big money if I didn't meet more people. New people is the power of Instagram, you guys. It is a black hole. Like 90% of the people on my team have come from Instagram. Y'all know this. Some of you messaged me. I sent some of you novel long text messages at my old company. Don't do that. This is what we're not going to do also. but it all came from Instagram. So take the time to spend an engagement on there, because really this sounds silly, right? Like liking a bunch of pictures, leaving a comment on one, watching someone's story, but the power of getting your little tiny profile face into people's notifications is huge. But it's one of those things where it's a two-piece puzzle. If you do a bunch of engagement, but you don't back it up with content and hashtags and having your kind of like 3 pillars in there, people might come and click on your profile, but they're probably not going to stay. Okay. And if you have a bunch of really great content, but you don't do the other half with the engagement, the people who are already following you might really like your content, but you're not going to find the new people. So it really is a two-piece puzzle of doing both. And if you're working on a limited schedule, I would really recommend following these 2 graphics. They're in Q Mafia. My team is doing a challenge with them right now where we're doing them every single day. But these are available in Q Mafia, and it's just the Instagram engagement list. And then the other list is weekly Instagram homework. And if you're on limited time and you do those 2 things every day, you could really get a solid chunk of work in about an hour. You could do half an hour doing the Instagram homework graphic, which is basically like putting up content and sending messages to the previous day's content. And then you would have about half an hour of using these engagement steps. And that's an hour of work that's really going to move the needle in your business. Obviously, the more time you put into that, probably the more your business is going to grow. If you can do an hour of engaging on Instagram, even if it's in 20-minute chunks, you guys, I'm not going to lie, doing these steps on Instagram engagement, sometimes you're like, oh my God, I've liked so many pictures, and Instagram will cut you off at a certain point. They'll be like, you can't do that anymore. And then you'll have to take a break. That's usually what I do. I'll engage on Instagram until Instagram doesn't let me do it anymore. And then I'll come back a few hours later and I'll do it again. But the more time that you spend connecting with people in this business, it is a social networking business. So it's going to grow. Anybody have any questions? We're at the half an hour mark, but if you have questions, unmute and I will answer them. I'm going to go through the chat really quick.
Where do you find your content? How do you come up with with quality content?
Yeah. So a lot of what I post, to be honest, is just me getting better over doing this for 4 years. That's something that I really like to remind people of a lot. By the way, if you are time sensitive, you are free to get off now. I'm totally done with training. I'm just going to answer questions. Always remember that everybody starts on different chapters. I've been posting on social media for 4 years for business. So as far as like where my contents come from, it's honestly just come from me doing it so long, seeing so many other examples, and then kind of like being able to pull that into my business. My niches, like one of my really heavy niches on Instagram is women in business. And so it's kind of easy to talk about that because that's what we do. And that's also one of my niches, if that makes sense. I recommend following people on Instagram that are doing well with their business on Instagram. So following Katie Williams, following Casey, follow me, follow people, follow Aaron for sure. Follow people who are doing really good on social media. And then honestly, copycat them. Copycat them. Don't take their stuff word for word. Don't copy and paste their posts. Don't do that. But you can take posts that they're doing and you can be like, wow, I really love that post. How can I tweak that a little bit to make that something that sounds like me? Wow, I really love that reel. How can I tweak that a little bit to make that something that I could post up, right? That's what I do a lot. My reel, if you guys follow me, there's a reel from the other day where I'm literally like twerking backwards to the boom, 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 boom. I literally copied someone. Someone else did that for a different company. I was like, I love that. I'm totally doing it. And I copied her. Now I changed it a little bit, but I pretty much copied it from someone else. Social media is one of those things. You can be a copycat and have a lot of success. There's also other questions in here. I want to make sure I answer them. If you asked a question, someone said, I've heard unfollowing gets Instagram mad at you. I think Marissa answered that in the comments. It's mass unfollowing. If you go through and you unfollow 200 people in a single day, Instagram actually would probably cut you off from even doing that But when you're doing little chunks like this, right, if you're spending half an hour of time engaging, realistically, you're maybe getting through 50 profiles. And the reality is, probably most of the 50 are following you. It's very rare that like all of those accounts aren't following you. So you won't get flagged as long as you're not doing it in excessive amounts. Tiara, did you have a question?
Yes, I have a question. So what if you are engaging with someone like you mentioned earlier that isn't following you back, but they're one of those people that you're like, okay, maybe I could potentially get this person, to start or to follow me back because they're engaging with me. Like I comment on their stories, I comment on their posts, like we're hyping each other up and everything, but they still haven't followed me back. It's been like 4 days. So I'm like, how long should I give this person? Or do I just keep going?
It depends. If they're watching, I do a lot of my reach outs to people from Instagram story viewers. So if you go onto your own Instagram story, in the bottom left corner, you can see who's watching your stories. I don't care very much about whether or not people follow me. As much as I care, are they engaging with stuff to where I could reach out to them? So if they're not following you, but they're watching your Instagram stories every day, I would send them a message, be like, hey, I wanted to send you a message. I noticed that you've been watching some of my Instagram stories. I'm not sure if you've ever seen anything I've shared about my hemp partnership or if it's piqued your interest. I'd love to send you some information. Honestly, either way, no worries, but I would love to chit chat a bit. So I'm excited to hear back from you. And if she's watching your Instagram stories and you send her that message, it really doesn't matter if she follows you or not.
Okay.
But also,
Yeah,
I will send you the Hot 20 engagement training because I feel like that would be helpful. I'll drop it in the Q Mafia page as well so everybody can see it. 1 or 2 more questions. Anybody else have another question? If a random person follows you, do you go and follow them? No, not necessarily. I don't follow people back very often. I usually follow people back if I sign them up, right? If you're on my team, I follow you. Or if they are someone that I'm really, really trying to get on my team, like they're a very big fish, then I will go follow them back, just so that it's more of a mutual thing. Because sometimes those bigger fish people take a lot longer to engage with, build relationships with, get information in front of them. So sometimes I will follow people back. I'm pretty picky about who I follow back. A lot of the people I follow at this point are people in our business. Like I just followed Paige Champagne yesterday. She's the girl who won President's Pick. Because I'm like, you're doing something right. I'm going to follow you, right? That's more so where I'm following at this point. All right, guys. Thank you so much for hopping on, especially the West Coasters with me early. I recorded this. I will drop it.
Hey, Mandy.
Yeah.
Sorry, can I ask a really quick question?
Yeah,
could you maybe like share a list of these people that you said we should follow?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you.
I will send some links, of course. All right, guys, I will drop the recording in Q Mafia, and you guys have a really, really, really great week.